Welcome back to Pile of Mopars. Trying to get a couple hours in the shop tonight and hopefully for the rest of the week. As you can see, we got the red beast on the lift. So I'll give you a quick view underneath. And then I got to get that valance on, the hood, and the interior. So we'll pick away at that. Okay, if you thought the top was dirty, the bottom is actually worse. Well, maybe not too bad, but I'll just give you a view around. This is aftermarket sway bar I put on. And it's just got Willwood brakes up there. Remember if they're, yeah, look like aluminum calipers up there. Everything's dirty. It's, I think the rear main's leaking. The engine's been apart before and it just never seemed to be able to get that cleaned up. But anyway, separate oil return into the pan. What else can we show you here? Just basically pretty basic stuff. So these are TTI headers. They snake in pretty good. These are there was two sizes, I think. You see the bit of clearance in there. Right there. There's two sizes. These there's 2 1/8 and 2 1/4. My buddy, when he built the car, initially went with 2 1/4. The issue he found there, and I can show you, you'll be able to see, is with the aluminum block. If you look, it's thicker there. Normally your block would end right flush with the pan. So the 2 1/4 headers would hit the block, and you can see it's even pretty close right there. But yeah, he couldn't get them to fit. So we ordered the smaller ones. It was kind of an oversight that you'd never expect. And even at that, you can see the tube's been dented right there to conform around it. But yeah, if you look at the size of the pan rail, then look how much wider the block is. You know, it's probably 3/8 of an inch on either side. But anyway. It's just a Chrysler stock cast iron 18 spline. My buddy would have ordered the Passon overdrive, the 5-speed that he makes, but it was like a 2-year back order, and of course he was trying to build this car. So this is it's got the Passon overdrive components inside, so it's still a 4-speed. It makes basically first, second, and third close to the same ratio as I say a torque flight, and then 4-speed being overdrive. There's the shocks I'm going to replace. They're just basic Monroes, but we'll get those nice expensive adjustable ones in there. Anyway, going back, you can see the oil leak on the exhaust. It's just kind of made a mess of things. Probably gonna have to get some carb cleaner or something to get that off. I've been using brake clean, but it's not even touching it. And I'm just giving everything a wipe down. This is the first time I've had a lift, and this car's never been on a lift, so I'll be able to give it a good cleaning here underneath. Yeah. And you see we got some nice frame connectors, bolt-on style, but they encapsulate the transmission cross member quite nicely. They go back and then bolt to the you know, where the rear springs mount. But they're a nice setup for sure. Don't know the brand or anything where he got them. So then coming off the TTI headers, we've got TTI 3-inch dual exhaust with the X pipe. Going back to some Dynamax mufflers. And then we got stock style leaf springs, Hemi springs, and then Caltrac suspension setup. We've got Caltrac adjustable rear shocks. And I'm going to move the strip tray and show you the Dana. So this is the Dana I was telling you about. It's all full aluminum center section and then steel tubes. You know, it's got to save a bunch of weight. I don't know if it's... And then rear discs, of course, more Willwood discs back here. I'm not sure how much weight it saves, but you know, it's going to save some for sure over the cast iron. I'm not sure if it's ever worth the money, but there again, I didn't buy it. I didn't pay for it. So, and then I was trying to retrofit a stock style sway bar in the back because the holes are already drilled in the frame. This car would have come stock with that, being a 340 car originally. So I was trying to fit that, but here's what I'm running into. The differential is, I think, well, how did that go? I know the spring perches have been moved in. I think an inch on each side because this had the spring relocation, as you can tell by up there. See how the shackles are offset. So anyway, these move in, and of course now there's a plate on the shock mount where the the end links. Yeah, and you see where those are a different width. So I've got to come up with a a bent end link bar or something to make that work. Not sure how that's going to go, so that's why it's not hooked up yet. Then we're back to the 3-inch pipe and then the stock style tip. These are the TTI stainless ones, which are a really nice piece. But anyway, so as you can see, this car was all painted underneath at one time, probably about 15 or 18 years ago. And with use it gets grimy, and then you add in a couple of oil leaks, and this is what you get. Anyway, it's got all the right ingredients. It just needs some TLC. So that is that. It's got some really nice wheels on it. They're billet specialty and they're extremely light. I know my buddy paid up for those, but anyway, I just wanted to show you the car has some. This side's pretty clear, but you can see here, you look close. Maybe I'll get the light in there. Show a bit of contrast. You can see there's some bubble in there, and there's some bubble in there. Both sides are like that. The other side's probably a little worse. I'll go to the round. Okay, this is the passenger side. You see the bubbles there on the wheel lip, and there's more down below here. And of course lots of road rash from burnouts. Anyway, kind of hard to see. So bottom line is the car could use quarter panels. When it was redone, 15, 18 years ago, it never had quarters put on. It was a pretty clean body shell. Like those are original fenders, original doors, original floors, all that stuff. This car's out of Spokane, Washington area. Well, that's where it was brought into Canada from. And that's a pretty dry area. But anyway, it never had quarters put on. They were just patched up. And of course, over time, 15, 20 years, that's going to rear its ugly head again. So that's what's happened. I've got quarter skins for it when the time comes. For now, I'm just going through it. Lots of little stuff. I'll just make it what I can for now. And then one day, put quarters on it and repaint the back end or whatever. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But for now, we'll just get it together here and beat the heck out of it. I guess up first, we'll get those fancy shocks in. So I'll take both the upper nuts off and then get the car up in the air and get those back ones done, or bottom ones, I mean. Well, that went quick. Sometimes when you use a wrench on them, the whole shaft will spin. So you just grab the little impact and it spins the nut faster than the shaft will spin, and it comes right off. I just wanted to show you here the clearance you can see between the valve cover right there and the shock tower. I think we got a 1/16 of an inch there. It's got a solid mount on the driver's side, so I make sure that's cinched up so that there's no play that it'll move. And if you look back here on the blower motor, same story, you know, it's pretty tight. It's the price you pay for having one of these elephants in here, that's for sure. A little detail to show you on the front end. Back when my buddy built this, front rubber bumpers, they're of course reproduction. They only made them for a 70 model. And that is why the notch is here, because I believe the 70 valance comes here. 71 have their own bumper, whereas this here is right here. And it covers that up, so not quite correct, but this car is basically a hot rod anyway, so you know, it is what it is, looks good. And these are those lights I banged up. I don't know if that's going to be fixable. That's pretty ugly. Anyway, we'll pick away at it. Okay, here you can see the bolts I'm after. One, right there, and then one in the back, both sides, so should be, there we go. Get those crusty things out and get the fancy ones in there. Well, here's what I took out. Came out real easy, no problem. Just your basic Monroe, and then you see the other ones beside. I'll check them. They're probably still usable, still good. They'd be good for a beater of some sort. I don't throw them away if they're still good, you know. Save myself $50 and use them in something else. But just noticed here, the top studs were, one was cut down on one side for some reason. Anyway, I'll work at getting these other ones in now. Okay, I'll give you a little better look. I decided to take the wheel off. Having a hard time getting these rubber things out, so I'll probably just have to cut them out or something, but they were just hard to get at with the wheel here, so pull them off, get the new shocks in, it'll be a lot easier. I just thought I would give a little tour. So we got the wheelward brakes, aluminum hubs. These look like aluminum calipers as well. So, you know, a lot of good weight saving stuff. And here's just, it was all, you know, painted back in the day. It wasn't re-undercoated like it probably should have been, but whatever. It is what it is. It's just a driver hot rod, not a show car, that's for sure. And that's probably the way I prefer them. Okay, I'm just trying to get the rubber out here, the upper shock mount rubber. And I'm looking at it, and it doesn't seem, it's weird because I can't seem to get it out. I'm not sure it turns, but I mean, I can't seem to pull it out. It seems like it's attached to the other piece. Obviously it was painted when this car was done, so you know, it's not part of the Monroe shocks because they were in here after it was painted. But anyway, I wonder if these are original style bushings. They're kind of hollow here and they kind of push in, but I'm gonna have to cut them out, unfortunately, because I can't seem to get them out otherwise. But I'm just wondering if they're an original style bushing from new. That'd be kind of neat, but kind of useless for me anyway. Okay, so I cut the bushing out. That was no problem at all. But I'm just looking here. Of course, I bought these shocks a couple of years ago, so I doubt there's any return on them, but look at the difference in height. I mean, this is full extension, you know, with the car all the way down. So, I mean, you're not normally going to have this much, but I hope this is not going to give me problems here, because as you can see, it's probably a good inch and a bit difference and shorter. And the other thing is, it's a little wide here on that collar for the bolt, so I ground it off just a hair. I mean, that didn't take long, but typical of aftermarket stuff, you buy it for a certain body and it's more of a generalization of what it's going to fit. But anyway, we'll see how these are going to work out. Okay, well, this shock fit in no problem on the bottom. I didn't have to grind that collar. It just slid right in. So it's just a difference from this factory thing. Probably a little squeezed more on the other side. So no big deal. Went right in. Like I say, this is short. So hopefully once I get it back to ride height, I mean, it's not a drag car, so I'm not looking for front end lift. This is more of a street handling car. And so hopefully this is not going to give us problem. And the other thing I might do is put in the tubular upper control arms. They're supposed to make it more adjustable with more camber and definitely more caster. And it's supposed to really improve the manners, handling manners on the road. So maybe that'll be a winter project to buy a pair of those and put them in. And then of course another thing that I noticed, and it's kind of irritating, you can see all the rubber boots are all split. So I'll put the light here so maybe you can see. But these trouble lights, I call them trouble because they're trouble getting up to where you want to go. Anyway, you can see all the rubber boots broken. And then here on the tie rod end, it's like completely split. And these are Moog components. And of course, you know, they're probably, well, 15 years old or however when the car was put together. But it's not like it has very many miles on it at all. Anyway, I know you can buy these separate, although sometimes they cost just as much as the joint itself. So I'll grease them up, and whether I replace them down there this winter maybe. Maybe when I do the control arms I'll reconfigure this. But anyway, that's where we're at. Well, the shocks are in now. They got a little adjustment knob. I put them on all the way firm, just curious to see how they ride. Cinch this nut down so we get a bit of bulge on there. It's nice and tight. So the car did come down a fair bit, and these, you know, the bottom rubber went right up to the apron there and took up the slack. So hopefully this is not going to cause problems. I don't think it will, because like I said, it's a street car. We're not going for a bunch of lift, but hopefully there's enough travel on there. But anyway, never had shocks like this before, so this will be kind of interesting. Just wondering, just in case some of the viewers want to see what this car started life as. We're not going to focus here. Okay, you can see the BS. That's Barracuda Cuda. B Barracuda S Special, which is the Cuda model. 23 two-door hardtop. H is 340. 1 is 71. And I'll show you the fender tag. You can see some of the options. Okay, well, I'll zoom that up here so it's easy to see. Yeah, so E55 is the 340, D32 is automatic, BS23H1B, FE5 red paint. It came with buckets console with a white interior. My buddy, he got a bare shell when he got it, so he switched it to black. Fairly early car, September 26 of 71. And then we got FE5 roof, light package console, buckets. We got mirrors. Anyway, one interesting one. So 26-inch radiator, which is interesting for a 340 car. Anyway, this one here, V6X. That is factory black billboards. Billboards are a very popular option for 71s. You know, people put them on now for sure. So to have an original car with billboards is actually quite scarce, because when the cars were new, it wasn't a popular option. Anyway, just thought you might want to see that. Okay, that's it for tonight's episode. I'll probably film the next couple days and post it probably Thursday night. Yeah, just get a little bit done each day during the week after work. So shocks are in. Greased the front end while I was in there for what it's worth. Well, the greaser said I could reach. I'm going to have to turn the wheel side to side to get the idler arm and all that. Anyway, long ways to go. See you tomorrow. Okay, Thursday night. Another, hopefully, night in the shop. We'll get a little bit done. I'll give you a bit of an update. Gonna maybe get the back seat and the back door panels in, and possibly get the spoiler painted. So let's get at her. Try and get 2 years of dust off them. They're not that dirty, just a bit of dust. So. One down, we'll get the other one. I picked up the rest of, or I should say we picked up the rest of the parts for the crew cab project. Rodney had them stored in the shop, and I wanted to get them out of there before it got, you know, snow and nasty weather. And we got a canopy we're gonna throw on here, stuff this full of parts. We're gonna stuff the inside full of parts. We just cleaned out a bunch of hoods and stuff, so just want to give you a little update on what the floors look like in this thing. That's just surface rust there, but really clean. I've built these trucks in the past where I had to rebuild all the floors and all these channels, and you know, it's doable, but it's a lot of work, so it's definitely nicer to get something like this. And so you've seen the trailer was full, the truck is full. Got some extra crew cab doors and tons of parts. My son Tyler, his truck is full, and there's still another load to get. So there's parts for this and then numerous parts trucks and stuff, but I'll have to sort through it and see what stays and see what goes. Okay, welcome back to Pile of Junk. I mean, Pile of Mopars. It's been a couple weeks since I started this video. I was working on the Cuda, the Red 71. I can't seem to find a lot of my parts. I took it apart about 3.5 years ago, and we've been evacuated for forest fires twice in that time, and things just got moved around, so I'm gonna have to do a bit of digging. I'm sure this stuff is somewhere. It's just, I was hoping to have it on the road about a week ago, and it just hasn't happened yet, so we'll hopefully get to it. But I got some new stuff to show you. So I showed you the 66 swept line in the last trucks video. That's over there. Well, it came with this box. It's currently a trailer, but it's a really clean box that'll go on that truck, and it happens to be a 66 Fargo as well. But the main thing is the box itself is pretty nice. You can see it here. So I made a deal with my buddy Jace, and we did a trade. So I traded in the Fargo and the trailer for this beast that I just towed home. This is a 77 Dodge 150 short box, and it's a factory 400 big block with a 4-speed. Original paint, but it's pretty crusty. It's been sitting since 91 in the bush with a camper on it. So the camper is in the dump now, and we're left with a crusty truck. Anyway, I gotta think that's a pretty rare model, being a short box with a big block and a stick, but it's a neat truck. So I'll get this unloaded, give you a walk around. And it's loaded with seats. These are 4th gen Dodge seats that I got with the crew cab project. I picked up a bunch of parts from it the other day, 3 truckloads, and I grabbed a couple of the big items today. So there's a drive shaft, the exhaust, a bumper, and from some front suspension, and then of course those seats, which I'll put online and sell. But I'll get this unloaded and then I'll unload this truck and give you a quick little walk around. Really neat truck, but it's a crusty beast. Welcome back to Pile of Mopars. As you can see, we've got projects sitting everywhere. So the plan for this weekend is, we've got a long weekend, get everything parked where it's supposed to be parked for the winter. You know, so I can snow plow and stuff in between and everything. Next weekend we're heading out to pick up the 69 Charger from my buddy. We're going to deliver my 70 SUPERBEE. And of course the Charger's got to be in the shop, but the shop's full. So we've got to play musical chairs with cars. We got to move a bunch of stuff around for storage to get things where we need to be. So that's pretty much where we're going to be with that. I've got that AMX in my trailer. It's been there since last year when I picked it up, but we got to use the trailer to load the SUPERBEE in, to bring it out and bring the Charger back. So anyway, lots of fun. After looking around for the hitch, getting her hooked up and getting it lined up, we're just about ready. And also, I had to, of course, chalk the wheels, and I put a strap front and back because I removed the original straps that were on it. Don't want this thing bashing around inside. So I'll hook this trailer up, get this moved out, and then we got to roll this POS out of the trailer. Well, we got this thing rolled out. First time it's seen daylight in a year, I think. I think it was last October, November I got it. Anyway, here it is in all its ugly glory. But again, if you just envision it as a ratty driver, it's not nearly as bad. Yeah. So, yeah, it's out of the trailer. We got to get rest of the parts out. Then probably use the deck truck and find a home for it. In the light there, you can see that awesome bodywork going on. That's something special. Somebody was really not too talented at that point. But anyway. Yeah, it needs lots of floor work and stuff, but rocker work and other work. And oh, there's Shauna. Say hi, Shauna.
Hi, Shauna.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay, we'll continue on here. Now that the Javelin is out of the trailer, we've got to get that SUPERBEE in the trailer. And of course, that's in the way and that doesn't run. And this is half in the way and this doesn't run. So, I just changed the tire. This one was flat. Came with another one. I put air in it. Hopefully it holds air. I want to keep this thing rolling, and probably the next video or two I'm going to do a will it run video and see if we can get it running and mobile. I would like to have it running and driving so we can move it in and out of the shop under its own power to work on it. So I just put this on. All the other ones look good. So we'll see if we can roll it. We'll get the tarp off that. And that one's got 2 or 3 flat tires. That's going to go to my buddy's shop to get quarters and stuff put on. So I want to make sure that the tires stay inflated for him. And then this is the truck I had mentioned last video that I traded that 66 Fargo for. This is a 77 short box, obviously, half ton, 150 power wagon, and it's a factory 400 big block with a 4-speed. That's looks to be original paint that's on there, but of course it's quite crispy. It's been sitting in the bush with a camper on it, if you believe it, a short box half ton with a camper. So you can see the tie downs there. Since this is the last plate, November 91. It's been sitting in the bush that long with a camper on it. So made the, protected the box pretty good. It's not bad. A little bit of rust right there. Anyway, but that's the least of its problems, because you can see the wheel well, crusty. And this side is actually not bad, just that wheel well. And then maybe this little crease here. Otherwise, the door is not great. This rocker is good. Oh, hi, Maggie. This fender, I guess it's not bad except for the, well, no, it's not great. You can see here, all the way down is rotted out, so that's got to be replaced. A really nice cab on it. Nice hood. Minty grill. Yeah, and this fender's not great either. It's got a big dent here, and then of course the same rust all the way down. This door is the same, and also the rocker is rotted. And this side is worse for rust on the box. It's rusted through here, and it's got heavy scaling, probably from long grass. Usually that's what does that. And then all the way around into the back. So, I mean, a really neat truck for sure, but definitely not a cream puff anyway. I'll give you a quick view here. We're gonna have to move this here shortly somehow. Yeah, sort of like a cream beige interior, something like that. And there's the stick. And no rust through in the roof here, which is nice. Quite often they'll do it along the window and stuff, but it's all really good. Got a vintage sun tack put in there back in the day. So a friend of mine, Jace, his father bought this new. He was an avid outdoorsman, hunter, still is. So get all the stuff lined up there. And here, I was told, this is original kilometers on here. So that's 82,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers is 60,000 miles. So this is what? This is about 48,000 original miles on here. Which is neat, but I'll show you the engine and why it won't just, fire right up. So a custom bumper on the back. That's where it's sold new. Kingsway Chrysler Plymouth in Vancouver, British Columbia. Original decal in the back, that's cool. This here is kind of mangled up. Probably fixable. Anyway, I will open the hood here. I want a big custom winch and winch bumper. You see where they had the spare tire at some point. I'll open this up. Oh, hinges are pretty stiff. So it's completely, well, I shouldn't say completely original, mostly original. It's got a Edelbrock 383 Streetmaster on it, and I'm not sure if this carb was on there or not. It was sitting in here. So other than that, it's pretty stock. Still got the manifolds on the exhaust. And yeah. But anyway, what leads me to believe this will not just fire right up is if you look at the hole here in the valley pan. So if there's enough water there to rust that out, guaranteed there's enough in there to rust out the cam and lifters and all that good stuff. So I've got to think this thing is not in a position to fire up. I think offhand probably a motorhome, well actually not even a motorhome 440, I was going to say motorhome 440 and bolt right in, but this being a standard transmission truck is a forged crank 400. So probably want a forged crank 440 or or whatever to put in there. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, it was an opportunity that presented itself. I really love these trucks. I love this grill. And it was just, you know, a straight trade. And I hauled the other one out and hauled this one in. And here we are. So one more for the pile. I uncovered the beast. I'll give you a quick walk around of what Ken's going to be working on here. This front clip came off a parts car, which was actually pretty decent. We're going to need to address this. There's a big dent there, but also rust and some previous work. Hood's pretty decent. I got to convert that to a Ram Charger hood. I forgot I put a dent in there with the Bobcat. Hopefully it's not too twisted up. So originally Go Mango Orange, you can see, which is, you know, same as Vitamin C. More orange instead of Lahimi Orange, which is a red orange. But pretty straight, hasn't been all mangled up. I mean, this can be bent back straight, and there's a crack there. But that's all pretty minor stuff. The inner fenders are good. Frame rails are all excellent. With the one exception, for some reason they ground off the little tabs that hold the brake line onto the firewall, just like those little bendy tabs. So we're gonna weld some new ones of those on. I think the fenders are just starting to come through there. Have to address that. You can see the original clutch pedal bracket there, and on the frame down there as well. It is originally a 4-speed car. This cross member came out of the parts car because there was no front clip on this thing whatsoever. I got it from my buddy Ray. He found a parts car in Alberta, and then I got the package deal from him. This fender looks pretty decent. There's a little bit here. It's had some work here, so we'll have to dig into that. This door has a nasty dent right on the edge. I think we could probably slice that and bend it out and then re-weld it. I would like to, this is the original door, so I would like to use it. Rockers are really nice. And I showed you last time, the floors are pretty minty on here. There's no 4-speed hump still, and there's the bench seat car. On the other side, there's a bit of heavy pitting here, but right about there, in that area, there's a couple holes, so I'll have to look into that. We're putting quarter skins on it. You can see, that's the original stripe that was masked over when it was painted yellow from orange. But yeah, these quarters are, you know, your typical nastiness. I can't remember what this back channel's like. They usually have some issues. It doesn't look bad though. You know, not too bad. Come around the back. The rear tail panel is really nice. Under here, behind the bumper is really nice. A little dented, but minor. This is another trunk lid off a different car. And then this quarter panel is something to behold. Somebody decided they were going to do their own metal work there, and yeah, just a stellar job. Other than that, you know, this quarter doesn't look bad. You know, it's all pretty solid by the looks of it. Here, you can see here, rusted through here. I'm not sure if we can get away with just a corner cap there, rather than having to replace this whole trunk filler panel. The roof's really nice. This door is really nice. This rocker is really good. Except I did that years ago. I bumped it with a Bobcat, and I'm sure that can be pounded out. But this is the gist of what Ken will be working with. Overall, a really decent car. The frame rails are all perfect. The floors, I think, are about 95% perfect. I think there might be a small hole or two, if I remember. It's been full of stuff for so long, I forget. But this is what we're gonna haul out to Ken when we pick up the 69 Charger next weekend. And this, I've said it before, but maybe for new viewers, this is originally so Go Mango, black vinyl top, black C-stripe, and black bench seat interior. And it's a Ram Charger hood originally, and it's a 446 pack, 4-speed, 410 Dana 60 car. So quite a special car. Yeah, so we're gonna resurrect it, and this is a relatively easy one to, compared to a lot of other junk I have. The 69 that we're picking up from Ken, the Hemi car, it was quite rough. It had been numerous accidents combined with rust. It was pretty tough, but Ken knocked it out of the park, and it looks, other than outside paint, it looks as new, and you'll see that next week. So I've just got to, it looks like most of these tires are holding air. I've just got to address that one there. I'm not sure if that's the tire or the valve stem or how long it stays, but I'll look into that. And yeah, so that's going to be loaded in the trailer. This has to get out of the way, and that has to get out of the way. So that's what I'm working on now. So I had the old tire, well, this is still the old tire, but I sprayed it with soapy water, and I could see it was leaking all the way around the bead and from the valve in the valve stem. So I popped the tire off the wheel. I wire brushed it with a drill all around the lip on both sides, and then I put a new valve stem in, and it's not leaking anymore. So this should work well for Ken. Now, most people would say, well, why are you wasting your time on such a obviously crappy tire? And believe me, it's bad, and you can see the cracks here. It's because just for a roller, I would never drive on these, but I just love the old school square profile, the square shoulder. I just think it's interesting to look at. So while it's rolling around, it's going to have these on it. This is the way I got it. These are original Chrysler 15.7 rallies, and although they got a 71 center, they came on the Cornet parts car that came with the SUPERBEE. I have no idea on what came on this SUPERBEE originally. I don't have the build sheet, and the rear axle and springs and the whole front K-member and suspension is off the parts car. This car was really parted out back in the 80s, but anyway, we'll get her back together, and she should be a inflated roller. Well, I thought I had it all fixed up on the GTX. I put that other tire on, and it's flat already. So I grabbed another one. I never checked it. I just put air in it, and I probably shouldn't have, But anyway, I sprayed some soapy water on this one, and as you can see, it's leaking almost around the entire bead, as well as the valve stem, so on both sides. So I'll pop this wheel off, clean it up the same as the other one, put it back on, and our new valve stem, and then we'll see if that's going to work. Such a pain. Okay, pop the tire off, and this is what we're up against. As these things sit for decades, you get water in the edge here, and it just rusts it all up, becomes a rough surface, and it just won't seal anymore. So I'll do like I did on the rally wheel. I'm gonna take a drill with a wire brush, a really stiff wire brush. Gonna clean both sides here, and then I'll take a lesser stiff wire brush and just clean that up in case there's any rust on there. And then I'll put a valve stem in the wheel, and hopefully it'll hold air just for our purposes of rolling it around. After a little cleanup here, this is the wire wheel I use. It's really a stiff one, but it cuts into any rust pretty quick. So there's what we're left with. Hopefully smooth enough surface to hold air. And interesting, I always thought the profile of these tires, you know, with this ledge here, I didn't recognize it as being Mopar. And I'm almost wondering if it's an aftermarket wheel. So there's a bunch of markings here. If you see here, this is the motor wheel marking. That's who made them for Chrysler and Ford and probably Chevy as well. Anyway, they call it a Unistyle. It's a 14x6. But there is no Chrysler Pentastar anywhere. Usually, you know, on the other side where the valve stem is, there's a Pentastar, but there is nothing. So I'm kind of wondering if these are just like an aftermarket version of the Magnum that, you know, ended up on the car at some point, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. I'll probably get some fat 15-inch tires at some point. And then I used a much gentler wire brush and just cleaned off. Sometimes you get flakes of rust and stuff stuck on the lip there, the bead. So it's cleaned off. So, I mean, these are just crap tires. But I just want them to hold air so I can roll in and drive the thing around the yard. And hopefully this will do it. So now I'll put the valve stem on it and put it back together. I had to clean up around the valve stem hole. There's a bit of rust and stuff there, and you know, got to looking at this, and I just wanted to give you a little shot of what can be done. I know the wheels aren't great and they look really bad now, but you can clean them up a fair bit with some really fine steel wool so you don't scratch the chrome. And just trying to do this with one hand here. Yeah, if you can, because a lot of that rust is, you know, you're going to have a rust spot or a rust pit, and then it just sort of leaches out there, and it looks a lot, you know, worse than it could be. So I'm just going to show you briefly here how you can at least make it more presentable. So there you go. You see how the leaching's gone. You're going to be left with those rust pits where the rust originated from. But you do that all the way around and give it a coat of, say, you know, of wax or something, you know, to keep it at bay. And then you could salvage a mediocre set of wheels for at least, you know, daily transportation use anyway. There you go. Problem is my deck's a little wider than the cables on the roll-up door, so let's see if we can. Okay, so I'll see if I can get around these cables, because I'd like to get the deck right up to the door, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. Oh, we'll see. Maybe it'll just lift the door up. I might end up wrecking something. Look at this diamond in the rough, eh? Get some new quarters on here, new trunk floor. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that around here. Try the other side first. Try putting that cable around the side of the deck. I don't want to wreck them.
Go forward a bit more?
Huh?
Go forward a bit more?
I don't know. I gotta try and slide the deck back. Are you still filming?
Yeah.
Okay. It might work better if I put a block under the door.
Maybe.
I just need slack in the cable. Of course, it winds up, but oh, that's pretty heavy. Shoot. Oh, there's the handle there. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if that's gonna work. Maybe I'll just put it down there.
You're gonna end up snapping that cable.
What's that?
How is that gonna work? You're not gonna be able to let the car down on there, no?
I think the weight of the car will still push it up into the trailer.
I think you're gonna fold your door.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I don't think that's working anyway.
I don't, yeah.
Good thing you caught that, yeah, because they were.
Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden you have no back door on your trailer. That cable's gonna snap, Dean. Do you want to put some blocks underneath the back of
right
the car?
here. We are close on this side. I will turn these wheels a bit.
Holy, it's so cold today. Jeez.
Come on, car. Cooperate.
I hate this kind of stuff.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I lower the deck. I don't think I can. Unless I bring it forward. I'll bring the deck forward and then lower it. I'm so worried about wrecking those cables. Okay, I got an idea. No, I think it should be okay.
Okay.
That's barely touching. I'll use the blocks to push the car with the deck. So I'll show you how this works. I think once we get the back tires over the hump, we're good. So then I put a block here and then push it with the deck in theory. There we go, it's like that.
Watch your cable.
Probably go forward again. I gotta check the other side for clearance. We're a little tight to the wheel well in the trailer. Probably wouldn't hurt to just bring this over anyway. Get that in there and push her in. It's the whole cable thing is the problem. Otherwise I'd put the deck right up to the door.
Are you going to clear the humps in there?
What's that?
Are you going to?
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
Okay.
come over a bit more and then straighten it out, we should be good. I'm getting to the end here. Can't see the other cable.
Almost need to make that a, okay, watch there. You need to make it a quick release thing or something.
Yeah, but they're spring loaded, right?
Oh.
You let go of that, it's just gonna boom.
Oh.
It's like a garage door.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll put blocks down and we'll let it down here. Let me get another block. Another block here, so it's not such a drop. So we're loading it backwards just because that's the way I loaded it, where it was sitting in my yard, rather than switch it all around. It doesn't matter which way it goes in because there's no engine anyway, so the weight bias is not going to change much. I think I'm going to disconnect it here, Shauna, and you and I can push it in. Well, that's it. Just a little bit of a struggle going up the ramp, but it wasn't too bad. I think we got it pretty square in there. So I'll strap it down, and then we've got a hood to strap to the roof. I'm delivering to my buddy as well. So anyway, we'll carry on. So it was a bit of an ordeal, but it's all good. Got it strapped down, crisscross to the axle. Got to see these B-body cars sure fill up a trailer. But have it nicely laid out in there, strapped in, so with any luck it shouldn't go anywhere. Now we got to put I think the best spot to put it is we got some foamy to put down. We got a 69 Swinger 340 hood, and then we'll just probably strap it down there. It's probably the safest place for that, for transport. Anyway, it'll live in here until next weekend when we make the trip out and put a 69 Hemi Charger in here. Okay, we'll get this thing in its new temporary home. I'm going to try and tuck it in tight because might need the extra space for, more junk. We'll try this. I think everybody needs a deck truck in their life. It's both good and bad. So we'll try and tuck it way over as far as we can. These Javelins are actually pretty small cars and they're pretty light. I would put them on par with an A-body because the sheet metal is actually so thin. Didn't realize that before, but my experience with this car now, I think we'll use the deck again. That ain't gonna work. Just hung up on rocks. Yeah, we'll block this front wheel. Then try and let the winch and everything out. There we go. And then put the block back on the back wheel and we push the car with the deck again. Just like that. Helps when you got a rock in front of your wheel or if we're going uphill and stuff like that. Now, is that going to be good there, Shauna? We'll have to push it a bit. Hang on. I can lift the back end with on the shackles and then just pull it out. Why work harder? Good there? Shauna's idea too. Here, I'll keep it in place. So we'll get it lifted up on the shackles. It's gonna, I think that's all our travel. So I'll block these front wheels. Probably block them front and back, I guess. Shauna's idea to tuck the tarp under the front tires, which is a brilliant plan because these tarps always like to come off. Should we move the back end over a bit? Yeah, I can do it with the truck here. What I'll do actually, so I'll hook this up just for safety, and then I'll lift the back end up and I'll back my truck and push the back over. Time for a new cable. So I'll take that block. No, I didn't put it on the front. Okay, I'll turn my truck and that'll swing the back end over and just let me know when we're good. So we're going to turn to the left. You can't hear me? Okay, so we're going to turn to the left. Gotta get in here first. Okay. So, not going to take much. Let's see what. It. That's good there. What do you think of that, Shauna? We're nice and square and we're far enough in. Good. Didn't even have to push anything. And we're good distance. So yeah, we'll leave it at that, tarp it up, and good for winter. Well, a busy day of moving stuff around. We got the SUPERBEE all locked down in the trailer. Still got a hood to put in there tomorrow. And I think that's it. We're ready for next weekend. So we'll call that a video. Thanks for watching. Pile of Mopars.